Camera number 298 of 365 is the Minolta XD5. It has two manual shutter speeds, but otherwise you require batteries to operate the camera. And the two LR44 batteries are housed in the battery compartment. While we're on the base here, we can see tripod mount, our release for our film advance so that we can rewind our film, and provision to fit the motor wind, or a motor wind if you so desire. Looking at the front here, we have our self timer. Now the batteries are already in there and I believe they operate, so let's just go ahead and check the self timer. Around about 10 seconds I believe. There we go, maybe a little bit less than that. So that works, which is good. And then on the other side we have our see there, our stop down button, a little sync port for the flash, and then our lens release. Now the camera came with this sort of generic Super Paragon 2.8 28mm lens, so I'm tempted to give it a try. It does seem quite clear looking through there, so we might give that one a try perhaps. And so that's pretty much it on the front there. So then on the top plate we have our film advance and our shutter button, which is in the center of the film speed dial here. Film speeds go from 1/1000th of a second down to bulb. Now I mentioned the two manual shutter speeds. There's bulb, and then there's the O, which is, according to the manual, 1/100th of a second. So if the batteries should go, you have the fail-safe of 1/100th of a second, which is a really nice inclusion. I must say, I'm really pleased with that, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to try this camera out. We then can select from shutter priority, S, or we can go to A, aperture priority, or we can go to full metered manual mode. And looking through the viewfinder on the right hand side there, I think you can, probably can't see that, I don't think, is the film speeds along the side here, which are lit up by a red LED. In full metered manual mode, your camera suggests, and then you just turn your aperture or shutter speed so that they correspond. Just a little bit more detail about the various modes we have, i.e. our shutter priority, aperture priority and manual modes. I hadn't appreciated, hence the reason why I'm inserting this extra bit of video. When we set the camera to shutter priority, S, the camera, you need to put the lens on the smallest aperture, the highest number, and then you can change your shutter speed. And when you look through the viewfinder, the scale down the side is shows you the aperture that will be selected as a result of your selection of shutter speed. However, when we go into aperture priority mode, we change the aperture, the camera is going to change the shutter speed. So the camera very cleverly, obviously by moving the lever, that scale now changes to shutter speeds down the side. And then when we go into manual mode, again, shutter speeds are down the scale in the viewfinder, and then we just choose our aperture and our shutter speed, and the camera will do the rest. So I just thought it was worth just mentioning that. I hadn't appreciated how the scaling in the viewfinder changes depending on the mode that you select. So let's go back to the video. On the other side we have our button that unlocks our film speed selector, and then we can slide some exposure compensation. I think you have to push it in, that's right, and move it, +2, -2, exposure compensation there. So it is a very rounded out camera, one that I'm looking forward to. I will have to replace the light trappings because they have well and truly disintegrated around the door here. So I'll do that before I take it out. Otherwise, that's pretty much it as far as the camera functions go. Let's just put the lens back on. There we go. So that is the Minolta XD5, and that has been camera number 298 of 365.